The following footage is property of Nintendo and Shigeru Miyamoto. I am but a humble reviewer. Also, the following review is opinionated. Respect my opinions, and I will respect yours. Enjoy. What's up, guys? Boss Andrew 3 here, and today we are going to review an amazing game, Legend of Zelda: A Link Between Worlds. Now, I love this game. I got it for Christmas, and it easily became one of my favorite Zelda games of all time. And we're about to dive in exactly why. Alright, so let's start with the story. Now, Link Between Worlds is a direct sequel to A Link to the Past, which came out back on the Super Nintendo in '92, I think. Anyways, it's very familiar if you had played Link to the Past. However, it's not necessary to play Link to the Past to understand what's going on in this game. Now, you start off as your average Joe kind of guy, not very heroic as is the trend in the series, and you realize that strange paintings are appearing over Hyrule, and there's a villain who is turning people, including Princess Zelda, into these paintings, and you become one of these paintings. However, you gain the ability to merge in and out of walls, and using this, you venture between Hyrule and Lorule to save Princess Zelda and, both worlds. It's very intriguing. I like the characters. I like the way the plot gives you curveballs every once in a while, and overall, I just like being in another new Zelda game. Alright, let's talk about the gameplay real quick. Now, Link Between Worlds has a top-down, slightly 3D format, which is reminiscent to A Link to the Past, however, also feels fresh. Now, when I say feels fresh, many times the camera angle will change when you merge into the wall, or if you're on a third or fourth floor, you can still see what's going on beneath you. It kind of zooms in and out, which is utilizing the 3D much more than was even possible at the time of Link to the Past. However, it also feels, retro, which is cool. Now, another thing I love about this game is the item rental system. You can rent items and even buy them later on at any order you'd like, which allows you to take on dungeons in any order you'd like throughout the game and gives you creative ways to fight baddies and all kinds of that stuff. Now, keep in mind though, if you don't own the items, if they're rented and you get knocked out in a dungeon, you're going to lose all those items, which means you very well may have to struggle through the rest of the dungeon or go back and get them. But I like that because I don't like it when you're coddled. Now, the dungeons and the bosses are very engaging, and the puzzles are fresh and unique. One big fear with Zelda games is the rehashing of so many older ideas and puzzles, because, they've been making these games for years. But this is not a problem with Link Between Worlds. There are fresh puzzles that really utilize the 3DS to the best of its capability. And also, as long as we're talking about gameplay, Hyrule and Lorule, which is a mirror image of Hyrule, they have so much cool things you can discover that have cool little features that aren't quite on the beaten path. So it also encourages exploration, which I love exploration. That's one of the best parts of a game, just running around and finding things in the world. Alright, now let's talk about the combat in this game. I love fighting in Link Between Worlds. Now, because of the plethora of items the game gives you, there are so many different ways to tackle your run-of-the-mill minions and even dungeon bosses, which is nice because typically in Legend of Zelda games, there's a certain rhythm and rhyme about how you're going to take down a boss. Now, that still remains for the most part in this game. However, if you can do damage to it, it'll take damage. So you could fight him with bombs, arrows, fire, sand, I don't care, your sword even, and there are so many different strategies to taking down the boss. Now, that being said, it's still advised to use, not to go back to Pokemon logic, but what's kind of super effective against that boss, just because you'll have an easier time. However, it can still be done with unconventional means. And as long as we're talking about the fighting, I'm not trying to spoil anything, and this is not a spoiler, do not worry. When you are in Lorule, you will find a place where you can just fight waves on waves on waves of baddies and get cool items. And it's a great way to test out the fighting in the game. It's so much fun, and it just encourages you to use your mind and take down each baddie. Once again, not to rely on Pokemon, but use what's good against them. Play to your strengths. Combat in this game is near flawless. Alright, now I have a list of likes about this game, and I'm just going to throw them right at you. The plot, it's engaging, and it rewards players at the best of times. And also, the exploration of the game. The overworld has secrets, has maybe a cracked wall that has a piece of a heart in it, or maybe some kind of treasure trove or some fairies. Exploration is well rewarded in this game. The item rental system is near flawless, and the upgrades that you can get to those items also, once again, rewards exploration, and it gives you an easier time. Also, there's a fast travel system in this game. You may have seen in trailers Link ringing a bell over his head and a witch coming on a broom. Now, that will fly around to different weather vanes, which act as save points and fast travel destinations between Hyrule and Lorule. Those are very useful because if you remember in A Link to the Past, you had to pretty much walk everywhere with the exception of swimming and for the most part you had to walk everywhere. And this streamlines the process, and it really, keeps you in the game longer, because while exploration is nice, needless backtracking can be very tedious, and I don't think anyone has time for that. Now also, I hate to nitpick, I really do, but as a reviewer, I have to nitpick. If there was one thing I didn't like about this game, it's the smallest thing. The final boss fight was amazing, however, there was a huge element that was missing. They tease you the whole game with the threat of a certain villain that we know and love, and the role that that certain villain, not pointing any names, Ganondorf, plays in it, it's still a good role. However, I wish, I like Ganondorf, and I like seeing him more on the front lines, so to speak. But once again, I'm just nitpicking. This game is beautiful, and you'll have an amazing time with it. Alright folks, time for what I think about the game personally. This is a must-play for 3DS owners, and Zelda fans will love this. Hell, this might even be a good reason to pick up a 3DS, even a 2DS. Just play this game, people. Anyways, I love that this is an original Zelda title. Even though it is a sequel, I love that it adds to an already rich franchise, and it feeds the lore, and people will be playing it for years to come and enjoying it because it's just that good. Now, the gameplay is engaging, the dungeons and the bosses require strategy, and how they can really get on your nerves, and I love that. No one wants to be coddled through the game while, Nintendo holds your hand and you pretty much one-shot every boss. That's no fun. You want to get on the tip of your seat, just being like, oh shit, will I beat this boss? And then you barely clinch it with, half a heart left. Or, conversely, you get your ass kicked repeatedly, and change your strategy, and with a little luck, you got something good going on. That's what this game did right. Now, this is a near perfect Zelda game. Near perfect. And it's one of my favorites in the series, as I said before. You should definitely get your hands on this. Link Between Worlds gets an almost perfect score. Now, I don't quite have a rating system yet for how I'm going to review, but let's say I did a 1 through 10. I would give this thing a 9.9, just because perfection can never be obtained. This game is amazing. 9.9. Go play it. What are you doing here still? Go pick it up. Well, there you have it, guys. Thanks for watching. This was my very first review. I plan on making many more. If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure you subscribe for more videos, and please leave some constructive criticism, what you did or did not like, what I can improve on in the comments section. Also, feel free to suggest games you'd like me to review, and don't forget to check out my Let's Play of Pokemon Fire Red version. Also, if you get the chance, make sure you check out Game Jedi, which is a YouTube channel that I'm partnering with my good friend. We will be doing reviews, Let's Plays, the works. So that is definitely worth a visit and a subscribe. I'm Boss Andrew 3, and you guys have an amazing day.